The South African Human Rights Commission has slammed the Department of Water and Sanitation for being too lenient on the City of Tshwane in enforcing proper regulations to deal with the ongoing water crisis in the capital city. This after Water and Sanitation considered that the City of Tshwane has failed to adhere to directives and court orders it acquired against the city since 2010 due to the department having a soft approach on the city. South African Human Rights Commission is holding a one-day water inquiry near the Roodeplaat Dam outside Pretoria. The inquiry comes after fresh complaints that the city is failing to meet quality water standards and is violating human rights.
The ongoing water crisis in the capital city again under the spotlight as the South African Human Rights Commission stages a one-day inquiry to look into this matter. Of course, as residents continue to complain that the, impact of the water crisis in the city has left them frustrated. So let's speak to one of the residents who, of course, spoke on behalf of many of the residents who have given representations here at this one-day inquiry. And I'm now joined by Advocate Conceded. Just in short, share with our viewers, how long have residents in this particular area, but of course the residents around the City of Tshwane, how long have they been struggling with the water crisis, and how have citizens been affected by this? How bad is the situation?
Basically, the situation has been deteriorating since 2004, and in 2011 it actually started coming to the bottom, where it started bursting open. And it has been brought to the attention of the local government, and they haven't been taking the required necessary action. So it's just been worsening, both for normal people living along the river or the dam, people that's got farms, factories, people that are giving employment, people that use it for recreational purposes. And so it's got a whole snowball effect about the income tax in the whole area declining, unemployment is being sent through the roof because the people on the ground who has been appointed do not do the necessary functions and oversight roles. So that's why the citizens are very, very happy now that the Human Rights Commission is starting to take action and giving us the opportunity to raise our issues in the best interest of all the citizens of the Republic of South Africa, and especially these ones in Tshwane, because they are not all represented by political parties or organizations. We are here as the people on the ground that are feeling it in everyday's life. And we need to make sure that the constitutional rights of the people are protected and the Constitution is upheld.
You're expressing happiness that the Human Rights Commission is here. This is not the first time that they have actually gone onto the ground to do these inquiries. How much confidence do you have that this round of intervention might yield the results that you're looking for?
We previously had the round in 2019 in August with Commissioner Jones. There was various promises made by both the National Department of Water and Sanitation as well as the City of Tshwane. And we are confident that with the follow-up investigation, they are seeing if the promises that was made will be upheld by the people who made them. And unfortunately, it turned out the promises were not kept. And as also indicated by Commissioner Jones, we will be ensuring that enforcement is done to ensure that the right of law is upheld and legislation and regulations are adhered to by the various spheres of government.
All right, thank you so much. Let's leave it there. Let's turn to the City of Tshwane, and I'm speaking to NMC of the city's utility services, and this is Mr. Philip. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, the city citing that sufficient funding is one of the biggest stumbling blocks to actually effectively deal with this matter. Just take us through some of the main points, the priority points. What has the city actually successfully done to solve this problem beyond the financial crisis?
Right. Let's pick up on what the residents have said, saying that the problem surfaced in 2004. That was when the symptoms became so visible to reflect on the lack of maintenance in the decade before that already. So what we are confronted with firstly is the backlog. That didn't happen in 2004 or 2011. It started way before that time. And the municipality prior to the period of the latest administration did not invest in their infrastructure. So since 2016, the finances of the municipality has been brought in line. Year on year, the finances have improved, and as we've done so, we were able to fund more on capital budget. But what the city at the moment can contribute is not sufficient to catch up on all of the backlog. So that's the reason we need external funding. But we cannot over-borrow. We must be able to service our debt. We cannot put the municipality at risk, while at the same time we appreciate the rights of the residents. So the balancing plan now in our water master plan is how we can bring the fastest relief. The projects that have been funded have all been successfully concluded or are moving on schedule, and we are in negotiations for external funding and cooperation with the development.
Yes, we understand that the city has financial problems, and we've been hearing this debate over the years. And just hooking on to one of the questions that you were even asked by the Human Rights Commission, what have you done? But also, the Department of Water and Sanitation is saying that the city is simply not complying.
Right, and the city hasn't at any stage denied that the water isn't meeting 100% of the criteria. Two things I can just say. The first one is the available funding is spent effectively to get us back on track as fast as possible. And the second one is we need to get the department to also support our efforts for external and increases in grant funding. They influence the grant funding. We trust that considering the seriousness that we may expect an increase in grant.
Do you feel you have not received enough support from the department over the years?
Funding-wise, there definitely hasn't been. And to think that you see, it's the balance that was referred to between support and regulation.
Are you not just playing politics right now?
From the support side, I feel that the department could support us, especially with all the other infrastructure that was inherited as the boundaries of the city grew, to allow us to also maintain that additional plant.
All right, we have many questions, but unfortunately, as I said, we don't have much time. Let's turn to the Human Rights Commission. Of course, earlier we heard representations from the Department of Water and Sanitation, and there the department conceding that it has been over lenient on the City of Tshwane. Of course, a confession that the Human Rights Commission did not take lightly. So I'm joined right now by, of course, the Human Rights Commission's Gauteng head, Jones. Thank you so much for joining us there. You slamming the department, saying that they're actually failing the people while they can, implement proper regulations.
Well, we have to ask pertinent questions. As a constitutional body located between citizens on the one hand and government on the other hand, we've been receiving complaints, and we decided to convene this one-day inquiry to establish the underlying causes, to also gauge progress made in attending to the challenges by both the water regulator, that is the Department of Water and Sanitation, and the Water Services Authority, that is the City of Tshwane.
But the department so, comfortably conceding that they have acknowledged all the problems. They know the problems, but there we heard Mr. Justice Maluleke confidently saying that the department has been lenient. What does this say about the department?
It does concern us that the water regulator has been lenient with the city over a period of time. And it is because of the leniency that we find ourselves in this situation. We are now in a crisis situation. We require the three spheres of government to work together to find pragmatic and lasting solutions to these issues that continue to afflict and affect the community of Tshwane.
Just share with us some of the complaints that you have received. Of course, people who live in the capital city, in particular as journalists, we've done the story so many times. It's been coming for years now. With your latest investigations and some of the latest complaints you have received, how bad is the situation?
Well, the situation has deteriorated quite drastically. We are alarmed that since our last visit to this area, that the situation has not improved. We've received complaints from the business forum, from farmers, from your ordinary people in the area, from workers, and this is something that requires the urgent attention of the city and of government. And we hope that through the information we've gleaned from today's session, we'll be able to come up with measures and solutions that will resolve this crisis.
Would you say that the city of Tshwane is simply not having the political will to resolve this issue?
Well, the city has been beset by a number of challenges. For a number of years, there has been leadership instability. There are deficiencies within the city, and these are some of the issues that were acknowledged during the session today, and we hope that the new administration will swiftly deal with some of these challenges in order to ensure that we remedy all the violations.
What if they don't? We've been here before, we don't get anywhere constructively. What if the new administration simply also does not live up to the expectations by the Human Rights Commission?
Well, we have a number of options, which include litigation against the City of Tshwane and other role players. But you also have powers to subpoena any public official, any responsible authority to appear before the commission to account for what has happened. We will be monitoring some of the criminal cases that have been laid against officials in the City of Tshwane. We will also be monitoring the impending case between the Department of Water and Sanitation and the City of Tshwane, because this case is of interest to us as the Commission, because the issues that are going to be raised in the case that is pending before court are the same issues that we are trying to address.
Thank you so much. Buang Jones from the South African Human Rights Commission, just of course giving us a wrap on some of the findings that the investigations into the ongoing water crisis in the city of Tshwane has managed to absorb. Of course, I think the main point here is the fact that the Human Rights Commission has slammed the Department of Water and Sanitation, saying that the department has failed in its role to, of course, regulate how the city of Tshwane manages its water resources, saying that the department is actually part of the problem and, in fact, is the main reason why the city of Tshwane's people are being failed by the capital city. On that note, it's back to you in studio.